Let me ask you a brutally honest question. When you delegate something to someone, does it usually come back to you worse than if you'd done it yourself? And do you quietly think to yourself, man, it would have been way quicker, way faster, way less hassle if I just did it on my own? Today, I'm going to show you a delegation system that can give you back at least a full day a week. Just imagine that. But key part, without losing control, without losing quality, and making sure that you've got massive momentum. We've been installing this system for over a decade with more than 2,400 businesses. It's one of the biggest levers we use to remove the founder bottlenecks and restore capacity. Why does delegation usually fail though? It's because what we call the leverage line and the exits that people need to make that they just don't know how to make. It comes down to how to decide what to delegate and then how to delegate. The framework we use to delegate means you can delegate anything cleanly and simply. It helps things to work properly and not them coming back to you all the time. If you want the delegation tools and templates and the scripts on what to say, then grab them below. Here's a truth that most owners never articulate, and that is no entrepreneur, no owner will ever grow their business into pain. And that's why they hit this level field, or they hit this plateau that they just don't seem to be able to get over. Owners say that they want growth, but growth often means for them unconsciously a lot more hours, more decisions, more hassles, and just a huge amount more emotional load. So if you're already feeling stretched, your nervous system feels like it's on reaction mode, it's ready to jump at any minute because you're so wired, then growth for you may feel like a threat. But what I want to do is I want to turn that into show you how it can be an opportunity. Because if we don't do this, what ends up happening is in your unconscious or your subconscious, there's going to be a resistance. There'll be a delay on hiring the right team. You'll be delaying on the email for a great partner that you could get a relationship with. It could be avoiding passing off to someone, I'll just do it myself and it's fine. And you'll get a sense of satisfaction because you'll be an activity-based leader. So you're doing it and you're getting rewarded like you were in the early days. But we're going to transition you into being a value-based leader. And what we need to do is to make it so that growth doesn't feel like it's heavier. It's like, oh man, what we want to do is we want to feel like growth is going to free you up. It's going to make you feel like things are moving even better than they ever did before. It's not just about revenue, it's about leveraging your time as well. And this is why we see businesses plateau at the same revenue band for years, maybe decades, maybe the whole life of the business. It's not because the owner doesn't lack emotion or ambition. It's not because that they're not afraid to grow the business, but it's just that the thought of putting in and growing the business and the weight that comes on for that just feels unbearable, and so they just don't take that next step. Without knowing how to effectively leverage, growth equals pain, and no one's going to grow when there's pain. Growth stalls not because the ambition disappears, but because the capacity for the growth in their mind, that does. That's what disappears, and they just stay at this plateau and never seem to be able to get over it. Remember, no one will grow into pain. So if growth without pain is the goal, then the first lever isn't effort. The first lever we need to have is leverage. So the thing is, most business owners don't actually have a business. They've just got a high risk job with a payroll. And every owner, if they're going to create an exitable business, will go through 4 very distinct roles. Now, in an earlier training, an earlier video, we went through and explained what those 4 roles are. So I'll just quickly do an overview, and I'll put a link where we go into much more detail in the other video explaining these roles. But just understand there's the worker, the manager, the CEO, and the board level thinking, and that gets to a place where you become ultimately an investor. And so when you look at these 4 different places here, the managers are all about from the worker to manager is all about driving revenue and getting cash flow. So you've got a proven concept. But when people stay here, they get burned out. So it's understanding how to cross across this leverage line. And crossing across the leverage line means it's a different currency we're going for. This one's about money. This one's about understanding how to leverage your time. And the last one there is moving to board levels, understanding how to drive impact even further. The key part is this leverage line. However, the part that we want to keep in mind here is these are the four different parts or the four different exits that a business owner needs to make. The question is, what happens and why do they get stuck? And they get stuck because they go, I know I want to get to this space. I know I want to get up here, but they just don't know how. And the problem is that at this place here, the leaders, the driver of the business here is what we call an activity-based leader. What do I mean by activity-based leader? That is, they got rewarded for doing the work. They got rewarded for closing the sale. They got rewarded for delivering on that really difficult project. And they got rewarded with some good cash flow coming in. They got rewarded when there's a big problem, they came in and saved the day. The problem is that the dopamine hit, it's like this kind of like their drug of dopamine of feeling fulfilled gets filled as an activity-based leader. The change to moving across the leverage line is quite a distinct change because what we're doing now is we're moving, instead of being activity-based, which is all about the sweat of the brow and the effort you put in, what we're now doing is we're moving into being value-based. And it's the understanding of how you can drive value in the business. And that's a completely different mindset because also value-based leadership, you get rewarded differently. And it's really difficult when you're addicted to the dopamine here, getting praises from your clients, getting praises from your team, to go up here where you're not getting the praise necessarily, but what you're doing is you're seeing the outcome of an amazing business that's kicking into gear. Because here's the kicker. This has got a bit of chili powder with it. The more valuable you are to the business, the more valuable you are to the execution of the business, the less valuable is the business. And the truth is, you don't scale by doing more. You scale by exiting each of these roles deliberately. But part of the reason that they can't go up because most people don't understand how to effectively delegate. And most delegation fails because the people who are actually doing the delegation, they're wanting to pass the work on, become emotionally involved and they're activity based. So they give it, but in many ways, that even though they want it to work, they still jump in and try and save the day. And they get caught and they get trapped down here. In fact, 98% of all businesses that start out stay in this zone. And that's what I don't want for you. I want you to create a business that is truly valuable and that can help you not only to make some good cash flow, but up here in value base is how you can actually grow you as a human and also grow your value and valuation for the business as well. Having said that, not everything should be delegated, and pretending otherwise is why delegation breaks. So what we're going to do is we're going to help you to break down the task into two dimensions so that you can understand what it is and make better decisions. What are those two dimensions? Those dimensions are looking at risk on one dimension, and the other dimension is its adjustability. Risk is how bad it is if it goes wrong, and adjustability is, can it be fixed easier or is it a one-way door? So risk can either be low risk or it can be high risk. Something that is a low risk, I think it's not going to make a big difference to the business and is highly adjustable. In other words, what adjustable means, it means if you put it out there, you can change it without having any real consequences. A one-way door, what a one-way door means is that you've only got one shot at it. For example, you're doing a live TV presentation, you get an interview, you got one shot at it, you got to get it right. As opposed to something that's adjustable. You're working on a project, you're doing some content creation, or you're making something, you're testing it, you're in a product development stage. So if something's low risk and adjustable, it would fit into very neatly to the delegate column. Okay, let's look at the other piece on here. If it's a low risk and it's a one-way door, in other words, you kind of got one shot at, but it's a low risk. There might be like an email sequence that you might set up for let's say a vendor, maybe not necessarily client, not in sales, but in this area there where it's a one-way door, you kind of get one shot at. I would still have this in very much the delegate column. So what you're looking at here is like, I can delegate this, I can delegate this. Now let's come across to this side over here and go, if it's adjustable, in other words, you've got a few shots at this. You don't have, it's not just a one shot wonder, you only got one chance to make it right. You can adjust it as you go, and it's a high risk. Then if you look at this one here, goes high risk, but it's adjustable. So this is a key word here. Then this also fits into the delegate column. It just might take a little bit of time to make sure the system's put into place and that the system is robust and you get to test it. So if you look at all the things you've got here, we've now got 3 categories. You go, well, hang on a second, low risk, I can delegate that. High risk, but lots of adjustability, I can delegate that as well. What does that leave? That leaves something that it's a one-way door, a one shot. You got this is your one shot to make it work, to make it happen, and it's a high risk. Okay, well, that there, happy that it's important for you to get in and close the deal. And like I said before, it might be live TV or it might be a radio, okay? In this category here, you're happy to get on there and you'll keep on doing that role until there's maybe someone who is more competent in the business later on that can be developed. But otherwise, all of these things here can be delegated to someone else. So let's go through a few more examples on what this might look like. So sitting down here in adjustable and low risk, it could be like booking some travel. Okay, that's pretty low risk. Could be monthly reporting. Let's go across in here in this category here. It could be pricing of your product. Okay, it's high risk because you screw it up, it's off, but there's a chance to adjust. Well, even if you get someone who purchases it, you've also got an opportunity to go back to them and say, hey, can I change that? Low risk, one-way door. It could be a campaign that you're going to do, and let's say, again, it's an email campaign that you want to put out. It might be an email for Mother's Day, Father's Day. It could be Christmas time. It could be New Year, whatever it is. It could be a campaign. You go, all right, there's not what big difference it makes. You only got one shot at it. People get it. But at the end of the day, what damage is that going to do? Now, it could be, if it is, it might be fitted in this category here, but still, these are things you can delegate. See, the problem I see is most owners delegate based on anxiety or a lack of trust or trust issues instead of actually doing it by design. And what that does is it creates a lot of rework and also creates a lot of frustration with them, but also the person that's in their team that they're trying to delegate to. Delegation isn't about trust. It's about decision design. Dumping tasks isn't delegation, that's abdication. And this system here is a system that I borrowed from Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. So if it worked for him, it can work for you. Now you know what to delegate. The next potential failure point is how you delegate. That's what we're going to do now. If you're finding that delegation is difficult or it's not working for you and you still feel like you're the bottleneck, then the best thing out is to get some individual help on that. We're happy to help you with that. The first part of that is to book a growth driver call with us. I'll put a link below so we can help you fix it for good and make sure that when it's fixed properly. Most delegation fails because the instructions are incomplete. And we use a framework called C-Port to delegate clearly. And I want to take you through this and each one of the steps to make it work for you. So let's talk about the word C-Port. So if you look at C-Port, the first one here and the first word here is context. And this is called the C-Port system to delegate. So the context is the why. It gives you the situation where things fit in. Then the next thing we want to go through is we're going to talk about, okay, well, that's the context. That's the overall frame so people kind of know what are we talking about. The next thing we want to talk about is the purpose. So the purpose is what we want to have happen, but it's a little bit of the whys. Like, why do we want to get this done? Here's the context. Here's what we want to get done. Here's what we want to achieve on this. Okay. After we've done the purpose, the next piece of the puzzle is jumping in talking about the outcome. Now, the outcome is usually where most people start. They haven't actually given a primer beforehand. The outcome is the really, really specifics of what needs to happen. It's how good I want this thing done. It's what's the standard that I want for it. It's how I want to look. It's the design of what it looks like. How many So how many I want to have on that, how much is it going to be? So it's a lot more on the specifics on what the outcome. Now, most people go, hey, I need you to do this thing. So whatever you're thinking around, hey, I need to do this thing, that sits in the outcome column. Then what we do after we've got the O, we then get into the resources. Now, sometimes people do this, but generally speaking, I see they don't do it. What I mean by resources here is what's the support that you need to get this thing done. Here's the tools, here's the templates, here's our brand guide. It might even also be who it's with. So you might, hey, Mary knows how to do this, have a chat with her as well and she'll get you sorted on that. So that gives you an idea, and with what. So what tools are you going to have to get that done? And then lucky last on this is going through, and the last one is time. So sometimes people get really upset. They go, oh, it didn't happen, but did you give them a specific deadline? And did you check in on them all the way through? And this is really all about by when. Now, I'll give you an example. Recently, I had a campaign that we were putting together for LinkedIn. It was on a paid LinkedIn strategy, and there was a whole content piece that I needed to put together that was around putting the playbooks together. But there was also a whole technical side, so the funnels and all the bits and pieces that happen behind it. Now, I could have said, hey, can you here's the lead magnet, I need you to have it done. Can you get out there and put it into place? But then they didn't have any context. So the context is, hey, we've started a paid LinkedIn strategy that we're putting into place. So they know, oh, it's part of a paid LinkedIn strategy. The purpose is because we're looking for a different avenue to bring new, fresh leads and to have a different marketplace that we're moving into. And the outcome is, what I'm looking for is the lead magnet to be coming into our system, and that there's a step-by-step process that we contact the person who's downloaded the lead magnet, we give them the lead magnet, we follow up and make sure there's an email sequence. So what I'm looking for is for you to help me with the technical side, which is not my strength. Help me put the technical side together. The resources are, here's the playbook, here's Adam, who knows how to do that. Have a chat with him so he can make sure that you understand the steps on how to do that. And what I need it by next Wednesday. Here's another example. Back in the early days, super young, I had a boss who said to me that, can you go buy a printer? And I went, oh, it sounds like a good idea. And I went, I want to impress, I want to get the best. I went and did like a week's worth of work. I looked at all the different types out there. I costed them, I put it together, and when I came to him, I handed him a whole 4 pages of reports and said, like, here's what it is, da da da, and looked at it and just said to me, I just needed like a really simple inkjet printer. And so that's where Seaport didn't work. And so this is how I kind of developed this, is I overscoped it from the delivery end, but that's what happens when you haven't been effectively Seaported. So it actually works both ways. This is one of those, Seaport system is such a great tool, and the clearer your instructions are, the faster the ownership of your team takes form and also sticks. What's really, really cool is that you do it often enough, if you do pass something to someone and you're abdicating more than delegating, and they know Seaport, they can repeat it back to you. So help me understand, what's the context? What's the purpose on why you want to get this done? Okay, what's the specific outcome that you need to see happen? What of that help? What's the resources I need? And when do you need it by? And when they do that with you, that's how you know you can start to really scale your business. And when your team do this with other team members, it is amazing. Because people don't fail tasks. They fail because they've got unclear instructions. So if you want your team to take a lot more ownership, then make sure you give them the context, you show them the purpose, give them the outcome, make sure they're resourced, and then you give them in time. You'll find it takes you a minute extra, but the outcomes you're gonna get are absolutely impeccable. Even good delegation fails though if you don't close the loop early. So that's what I take you, even though you've taken them through this, there's one little piece that makes the difference, and it's called the boomerang. Delegation without getting feedback is also abdication when you're passing something on. So what we want to do is we want to help you with a really cool thing that's going to bring it all home, and it's called the boomerang technique. So here's how it works. So once you've gone through this, you ask them to repeat it back so that you can hear what they're saying, you can understand. Did they understand exactly what you said? Have you got that locked in their brain? what is in your brain. And what we can do from there is then set an early check-in. What I like to look at there is if you're thinking about something and you've got a task or whatever it ends up being, and if you've got a timeline on that, if you look at that timeline and if you look at that and if they've completed roughly 20%, you give them the goal on that, they've completed 20%, do a check-in and have them come to you, not the other way around. You're not going to check in on them. Hey, when you get about 20% done, come in and check in with me. Not at the end, because you get at the end, it's too late to help them to course correct. So I do a little check-in here, and it's often good to check in if that's 20%, the last little 20% here. My hot suggestion, and they got 20% to go, that's a hot suggestion to get in there and have them check in with you before they finish it off, because you might do some refinement. And what this does is it prevents rework and it prevents resentment. And the cool thing about this is delegation compounds when it's systemized. This here's a system. And what I would highly suggest is that you train yourself first and then train your team on that so they know how to do that. That's how you build the system. If it keeps coming back to you, it's not delegated. And this is how you can move from being an operator of a business to an owner of an asset without losing control. If delegation has felt painful, it's not because you're bad at it necessarily. It's just that no one ever taught you this system. No one ever taught me this, and I sit down and learn it myself as well. But if you want help installing this properly and you kind of go, you know what, I know I've got it, but I want to build it even more robustly, then the best way to do that is get some personalized care. And the way we can do that and the way we kick that off is with a complimentary growth driver call. It's really, really simple. Just click on the link and we'll be able to help you. And the key part to remember is when you delegate, then you can elevate. And building a business that works without you is amazing. And that's what we can help you with.